Welcome to the Spiritual and Empowerment Living with Tia podcast, a sacred place and resource for spiritually centered women who want to go from the mundane to the magical life, for overcoming fear and doubt, reconnecting with the goddess, understanding messages from spirit, and uncovering your spiritual gifts so you can finally live the life you deserve. Hello, Spiritual Trailblazer, and welcome to another episode of Tia Scope on this podcast. So one thing I really love about the Tia Scope is that it just explains what's going on. Planetary-wise, zodiac-wise, it's just helpful to understand those external factors because they do really play a role in our lives, and it shows in our emotions, how we react to certain things during this time. There's definitely something to be said about the zodiacs and the planets and their influences. So we have the full moon in Scorpio on a Monday. Let's get into it. So if you're new to the Tia Scope, I came up with the Tia Scope episodes because I've noticed over the years my reactions. Now looking back, when there's a full moon, new moon, a solar flare, whatever the case may be at this point, I noticed that there are certain times where I just feel sometimes meh. Sometimes I got a lot of energy. Sometimes I just want to retreat. Sometimes more like harsh criticism, thoughts pop up. A lot of emotions pop up. So once I started diving into spirituality, I realized that the phases of the moon really play a part in how we feel, and the planets really play a part in how we feel and the things that we do. So I decided to start doing some research and help break down what's going on, because it can be very daunting to read the cosmic, forecast, if you will. So the Tia Scope is just here to help break things down a little bit. I will give you the links that I use so you can always do your independent research. I encourage people to do their own homework as part of the journey. And, to be quite frank, it's not my material. So I'm also giving credit. All right. So that's how the Tia Scope came about, to really just break down what's going on, to help us understand certain things. And it's like a heads up too. So, I go to astrologyking.com. It's my favorite website. And so we're going to start off with the summary this time. I did pull a card. I have a new card deck that I'm using. So I'm going to use that. And let's talk about this. Let's talk about, just all the things I normally talk about, because it's a lot. And I'm looking at my notes, I'm looking at the website. So let's just go. All right. So today is the full moon. And it states here, April 26th full moon opposite of Uranus brings unexpected events, sudden changes, impulsiveness, and rebelliousness. That would explain the card I pulled. Okay. And it states here, alignment with the fixed star Kamavalia. Sorry if I mispronounced it. I know I mispronounced it. As unreliability, changeability, and argument. However, the restrictive influence of Saturn is a stronger influence on the full moon because it is in a challenging square aspect to Sun, Moon, Mercury, and Venus. It brings sadness, criticism, fear, guilt, and makes it harder for you to share your thoughts, feelings, and affections. So this is pretty rough full moon. Pretty rough full moon. Pretty rough. What does all that mean? Well, it means that you are going to be taking some stances, okay? And you're going to be going against the grain. And when you do this, it's going to bring up these feelings. It's going to cause that friction, the unexpected change. Some people are going to have adverse reaction to what you're choosing to do, and others won't. And it's also going to be partially due to the fact that you're just going to be like, screw it, I'm doing it. That's where the impulsiveness comes from. And sometimes being impulsive isn't a bad thing. Sometimes one of those things that you been suppressing for a long time, and then that impulse is just like, you know what, screw it, it's all going to come out. So don't be surprised if this is the time where you decide to live your truth, right? It seems like an unexpected change to a lot of people, but it's something that's been simmering just below the surface for you. So when you hear things like Uranus brings unexpected events, sudden changes, impulsiveness, and rebelliousness, don't think of it as something scary. Like when something's being rebellious, sometimes that's needed. Yeah, sometimes maybe it's someone doing it for the heck of it. However, there are times when being rebellious isn't a bad thing. It just means you're going against something, someone, some system that was put in place for the benefit of certain people. So, you got like I said, on one end, the person who just wants to be rebellious, just to be rebellious, just to do it. They're going through something, whatever. Then you got the other person that's taking a stance, going against the grain, going against something that's not working for them, right? So now they're rebellious, but rebellious against what? Sometimes it depends who you ask, right? So let's dig a little deeper. So it also states here that added to this, the fixed stars on Sun, Mercury, and Venus are of Saturn nature. They bring the potential for impediments, worries, tests of endurance, loss, and disgrace. So Saturn is a very rough planet. It's a teacher planet. And it's crazy because it's actually my favorite planet. I just love the tough love that Saturn brings. So this time is also a time where you are going to feel like, okay, I took that step, I did that impulse, I had that rebellious moment. Now what? Right? So it's almost like this: did I make the right decision? Here's where the worry comes from. But this is the test of endurance. Sometimes even when we make a decision we know is right, maybe that decision we made should have been made a year ago. Right? This is the stuff we tell ourselves. So there's a little bit of disgrace. And I don't like to use that word because that word is one of those words that sting like disappointment. It's like, I'm not even mad, I'm just disappointed. It's like, ooh, no one has ever told me that. For the record, I've been disappointed in people, but no one has been disappointed in me. But there is that feeling of a little bit of like, I should have done this already. I should have been further. If I only. Don't get caught up in that. Okay, don't get caught up in that. These are some of the feelings that can pop up when we make that change. Okay, especially when it's impulsive in a way, but it just works out faster because that's where our energy is going. Okay, right? So something made us upset, we're angry. That anger, that passion, that fiery energy is already charged. So what we want happens faster. So that's why impulses are that in a way, because when we make an impulsive decision, what happens? It happens right away, the result, because our energy is directed so hardcore towards that it gets answered right away. Okay, so this is again that time where we really had to make sure we are checking our feelings. So don't be hard on yourself. All right, this is the right decision. Just let it pan out. Okay, so now I continue on it to state here: the combination of all these difficult aspects in stars is likely to cause some self-doubt and problems with self-esteem. That's what I was just talking about. Our relationships will come under a lot of strain if negative thinking is projected onto others through nasty words, criticism, or disloyalty. And this is actually the first time I'm reading this part. by the way. So I'm actually covering this with you and breaking it down. So yeah, this is what I was talking about. Uh, First and foremost, the relationship with yourself. Relationships, it states here, will come under a lot of strain if negative thinking is projected onto others through nasty words, etc. Your first relationship is with yourself. So make sure that you are not doing this to yourself. Okay. And in the process, make sure that you are double checking how you're speaking to others, because when you're going against the grain, when you are doing something that the path is not uh, well walked, okay, you're basically going down a path that has not been traveled much, okay. um, there's going to be few people on your side. So make sure that you keep those few people by your side. Okay. Don't project anything onto them. Don't chase them away in the process, and don't chase yourself away and self sabotage, which is interesting because the weekly Goddess Oracle card I pulled was Goddess Nike, and it was about ambitions and just having that, you know, just do it attitude that, it's going to work out, but don't get caught up so deeply in the how that you overlook your opportunities and you miss the mark. So that's interesting that popped up. Speaking of interesting things popping up, I wanted to take a moment to remind you that you can still register for the Unlock Your Magic Summit. It's a 3-day virtual summit where we talk about practical magic, unlocking your magic, and enchantment magic, all to help you live that desirable, magical life, to help you overcome blockages, to help you overcome confidence and boundary issues, to help you establish a daily witchy practice, and so much more. So make sure you head over to tiamariejohnson.com/unlock your magic summit. The link will be in the description of this episode. Yes, I'm very excited for the Unlock Your Magic Summit. It's a lot of fun. The speakers are just amazing. It's been such a pleasure to record their trainings, and yeah, I can't wait for you guys to get your hands on, or not that you're getting your physical hands on it, but you know what I mean. I can't wait for you to get all this great information for the summit that starts this week on the 29th. All right, so let's see here. Okay, it talked about the self-doubt. And then it talks about the moon and Mars that gives the full moon trine Mars gives courage, intuition. So here we are, where not all is lost. Okay, so it just states here, the influence of this moon on the 26th is combined much more positive influence of the 11th new moon. So the new moon on the 11th of this month. The new moon continues to bring the courage and good judgment to take advantage of opportunities and growth. I was just talking about that. It can help you overcome the full moon limitations like shyness and depression. It is also good for breaking through barriers to progress and success. The effects of this full moon will last up to 2 weeks, up until 11th May, the new moon. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. All right, let's talk about the zodiac and the celestial planets. All right, so we have Scorpio, full moon in Scorpio. Let's see what Scorpio is about, because I know we talked about Scorpio maybe one other time on the podcast. So I am on astrologyzodiacsigns.com. So Scorpio is ruled by the element of water. Um, the planets it's ruled by includes Pluto and Mars. So you got, every time I see Pluto, I think about the winged god, and the communication. I'm not thinking about Mercury. That's Mercury. Excuse me. I need to look up Pluto. Well, Mars has to do with very male like energy. Actually, let's look up. Let's give this a little look. Okay, it states here Pluto is no longer considered a planet. Yes, we know. Okay, it states here Pluto is the ruler of all destructive choices and taboos in the world, speaking primarily of the human need for sexual repression that leads to deep unconscious frustration that tends to set itself free. All right, that got deep. It rules the sign of Scorpio, which is, after all, the sign of sex and war, and Pluto is all comprised into one point where things explode, burst into flames. Okay, so it looks like Pluto is here to shake things up. And it states here Pluto doesn't necessarily manifest in the prettiest ways. Let me see. Wow. On a mundane level, Pluto will manifest through our natural disasters. Okay, wow. Okay, that got really deep. And Mars, let's see here. Yes, it's named after the Roman god of war. And let's see, it's talking about the Mars and astrology. Yes, this is what we want. It states here that it represents the beginning of all beginnings, among other things. So it has here Mars will be seen as fast, aggressive, pushy, angry, some passionate. So basically, what it's saying here, Scorpio has a lot of passionate, aggressive energy. I don't know. Scorpios, let me know. I don't know any Scorpios. So the strengths here are resourceful, brave, passionate, stubborn, a true friend. And then, I don't care for the weakness part, but it has here distrusting, jealous, secretive, violent. So let me know, Scorpios. Do you agree with this? But anyway, for this full moon, the resourceful, brave, passionate, stubborn, isn't it what's needed? I mean, really, what's needed for this full moon to do what we want to do? This change that needs to happen, right? Because people are going left and we're going right, so we need that Scorpio energy. We need that Scorpio energy. All right. We talked about Saturn before. I, mentioned it's the teacher planet. It's rough. And then, the full moon is on Moon Monday. So intuition is doubled today. So that's what I like to do with this. I like to look at the planets, the day the full moon, the moon falls on, and what that means. So, okay, what does this mean? We got the full moon. So we got it always that moon energy on a moon day with the Scorpio zodiac, and then we have Saturn also part of this. So it's going to be a lot of tough love, a lot of strong boundaries being put up, and a lot of screw it. I'm doing it my way now because your way didn't work, and I've been doing it your way for decades. Okay, that's what a lot of the feelings are gonna come up during this time. People are having this shift where it's like, I'm gonna do it the way my intuition, my cellular memory is over here, giving hints. Like I need to take this path. Okay, like this is what needs to happen, and this is a great thing. It also states here, sun opposite moon brings your home, family, and intimate relationships into sharper focus for the following 2 weeks of this moon phase. Opposing forces such as work versus home or what you need versus what you want create inner tensions and external pressure. This can lead to conflict and crisis to drain your energy. So basically, it's that internal tension and external pressure is basically what you've been wanting to do for so long, versus what you still have to do in your everyday life. So for example, if you want to leave your job because you're feeling like you're being called to do something, you realize, wait a minute, I need a plan. I can't just leave. I still have to pay the bills, but I don't want to be here anymore and I want to change this, right? So you start to work more towards the change that you want and less towards your job, but you still have to do your job because you need money, right? So is that internal versus external conflict, but you got it. But to be aware of it is the key. So now you know that you're not crazy. All right, let's go to the oracle card. I pulled talent, and it's a beautiful woman. She's like in a ballerina pose. She has one leg up, her arms are out, like she just like twirled around and then stopped. Like the pose is beautiful. Behind her is it's the moon, and it's like a crescent moon, so it's like lit up that way. And what I'm getting from this card is that now it's time to show the world what you're made of. Okay, let this full moon be the energy you tap into to basically say screw it in your zone. Because when you think about it, the way this woman stances in this card, it has to be, I'm tuning everyone else out. I hear the music, right? And I'm on key, I'm on note, I'm doing this. It doesn't matter if someone's coughing, clearing their throat, adjusting themselves, what the grunt as they're moving around in their seat. It doesn't matter. All that outside noise doesn't matter. And she made her mark, and her stance is perfect, and she's glowing. Like, it's just such a beautiful card. This is the time where your talent needs to be turned all the way up. Don't hold back. Okay. Now, if you're in a situation where, it's a safety concern where you can't just be all out, totally understand that. Please try to find an outlet of like a community where you can be yourself. And I know Facebook groups have been great with that. And now people can meet up in small groups in some cities. But if not, there's always that virtual meetup. Not the same, but it's the best we can do during this time. But yeah, now is the time to show your talents to the world and start with yourself. Show your talents to you. What have you been putting on the back burner? What have you been denying yourself for a while now? It's time to dust that off, open up that trunk, okay? Open up that book, whatever it is. I need you to open up that part of you and let that part shine, because this full moon is encouraging you to do just that. Okay, and it's giving you a heads up about that feeling of being imbalanced, that feeling of negative self-talk. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up with this part. It states here, the lunar moon qualities of emotions and instincts reach their peak at the full moon. So use your increased emotional strength and intuition to overcome any relationship challenges. Subconscious awareness allows for impartial and balanced look at your personal relationships. You will clearly see any relationship dynamic or negative feeling causing disharmony. So this is what I'm saying. When you are focusing more on yourself, you get to see a lot of things clearer, right? Because when you're focusing on this person and that person and that person and that person, trying to help them out, you don't get a chance to take a breather, take a step back and look at who's adding value in your life. What are you doing in your life? Okay. So spend this time to really focus on yourself. And then you can look around and see, you know what? That person really is not adding value in my relationship, in my friendship, in my whatever life. Like every time I talk to this person, It's always about them. I can't even get a word in. What is the point of this? Right? So there's a little disharmony there. So what do? Well, you can talk to that person less, to the point where, you just don't talk at all. You can have a conversation with that person and let them know if you think you can have that conversation. Okay, if not, you just gotta just, slowly back away. All right, phase it out. So just remember, there's a strong need for that disruptive behavior, right? Right. And when I say that, I mean that this can't continue. The way we used to do things is not how we're going to continue to do things, right? What got us here isn't going to get us there, right? This change is needed. And sometimes change doesn't work when it's settled. It needs to be an upheaval. And that's what happens when that massive change comes. But guess what? This is the very change we've been wanting. All right. If you're listening to this episode, this is the change you've been wanting. This is the change I've been wanting. This is the change we've been wanting. That deep down inside, that thought, that idea, that vision we had, that's our inner self, what we truly want. And you know what it is. I know what it is for me. If you don't know, you're thinking, Tia, no, I don't know. Trust me, it's going to show. Give yourself some space. Be in a quiet atmosphere for a little while. Trust me, it'll come back up. It'll come back up. Because it's needed. It's needed. All right, and I need you to get excited about this, because this change is the change for the better. But it looks scary at first. But I'm here to tell you that it's not. It's going to be good on the other side. All right. So just give yourself some time. Let your decisions pan out. Don't give up midway. I am rooting for you, sending you so much love. Don't forget to sign up for the Unlock Your Magic Summit. Be kind to yourself. Until next time, sending you all the blessings.
As always, Spiritual Trailblazer, thank you for tuning in. Do make sure to stop by and visit me at tiamariejohnson.com. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Last but not least, be kind to yourself. I'm rooting for you, and I'm sending you so many blessings. Until next time.